Welcome back to LCS Playoffs. It's going to be an exciting day ahead of us. As you may already know, we are ready to dish up the hottest takes and bowl over all the other caster duos because, Kobe, you and I have the most collective experience. It's not quite 200 years, but it's a lot compared to other LCS casters.
How many years? It's definitely over 20 years.
Well,
so,
if we're doing LCS only, it's like 8.5 each.
LCS only. We have a lot more League of Legends experience than just LCS.
That's true. You played in 09 as well, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, we're looking at 12 years.
We both have beta experience. Even.
That's true. Yeah. So, released and otherwise. Team Liquid, of course, looking to turn things around. Cloud9 did very well in the previous game. I will say, TL closed games faster, but Cloud9 was honestly just as dominant in game 3.
Whew, definitely seems like we're in for a wild ride, my friend. Let's see how the Champ Select actually differs this time around. Because Team Liquid, it seemed like in game 1 and 2, all they had to do was invest in some tools to win some early skirmishes. And they even talked about it. With the interview, Cold for the coach.
Yeah.
So if we can just fight them early and beat them a little bit early, then we will win the game. And that's what happened in the first two. Game number 3, they reverted a bit to some more cautious lanes and a much stronger 5-on-5 setup for later. See if they actually go back to game plan number 1 here. Giving over the Varus again to Sven, though. He was quite good on it. So much long-range damage coming through. Highly accurate with his skill shots.
And we're going to get 3 straight games of Sven on the Varus. And I want to point out, right, in game 4, it's TL's side choice. Just because they're the lower seed, they pick on even numbers games. They chose to remain on red. To my recollection, it hadn't been switching back and
back
forth.
to this.
Right, so this is interesting. Yeah, Ziggs is still left up. The same 3 bans, I believe, for Cloud9, but now seeing that a Ziggs ban is coming through, they get that one.
They even hover the Renekton on the side of Cloud9. They know what's coming. What was the opening comp there with the Sejuani plus the double melee solo laners for Team Liquid? They had so much success. A lot of it, though, predicated on Santorin's early success with game.
Oh, yes!
I don't think that's repeatable. Oh, Talia
I've been waiting for this for so long. 0% pick rate. Talia's in the LCS finally.
I talked about it multiple times on the dive, so I'm like, how long have you been waiting for it, Freak?
Maybe not as long as you, but a while.
The Talia it's necessary to have your point-and-click setup. So you only feel comfortable in picking it in things where you have combinations like the Renekton. It's all about your point-and-click CC into your W-flick seismic shove back. She has been in a good spot as a jungler just for quite a while now, and it's been something we've been tossing around on Masterminds as well in some of the compositions, and yet we finally get to see it here. Blabber pulls it out with the lock-in simultaneously of the Renekton. Huge kill pressure there. This screams top lane focus. If they also can get Perks to champion for mid lane with some easy CC setup, then you will obliterate people within the duration. You get your seismic shove over the rocks, so much damage, possibilities here for it. Plus, if you're playing it into what you expect to be a tank jungler and they lock in the Sejuani, then you get the possibilities of very aggressive invades too. Talia, one of the biggest strengths, you can play off of any of these lanes. She's so effortlessly can harass and invade tank junglers like this because you have huge damage output and very easy repositioning. Next to walls, big speed boost, so it allows you to transition over very quickly.
And you can see Team Liquid identifying that now that they've got a mage in the lineup, they can start banning other AD mid laners. Lucian has been Perks' most played champion so far this year. And they're going to drop off Gwen as well in case Renekton was going mid.
And critically, they're banning out strong lanes for this Talia to work off of as well. So, the AD threats that are also going to push and allow you to get that harassment off. This is definitely a combo that will allow you win strong lanes, win jungle as well. That is the game plan through. There are lots of interesting synergies you can pull out with the walls, trying to trap people as well as we get down the list here. But Gwen being taken off the list because, again, when you're Sejuani, you're going to want to be melee heavy as a composition. Gwen excels in the fighting those types of comps, so another good protection ban there from Team Liquid.
Alrighty. Bar does a long hover here. Shen. Okay, so Shen top lane in Renekton. You can withstand a lot of the damage. If you get your dodge zone up in time, you immune the entire Renekton W. You take 0 damage, you don't get stunned. It feels really good. Obviously, you also have pretty reasonable disengage. If Renekton goes in for the stun, you can just dash, and though you'll be stunned, you'll still be another 800 units away and not in Talia range.
And one of the biggest things is, as soon as you have vision on Talia, you are going to expect the stun setup. So that makes it much easier for timing windows when you're going to use your Spirit's Refuge. When you're looking for that, jungle tracking is going to be very big this time around.
All right. The 6th Silas game of the year for Perks. 3-2 on it so far. See if you can add a 4th, otherwise they are headed to the lower bracket. Cloud9, a bit light on engaged tools. Rakan makes sense here with Leona and Nautilus banned away. What's next up does mean his famed Alistar is not to be picked here. Vulcan, easily his best and most played champion, 17 on the year, but goes for the Rakan. And CoreJJ seems happy. We can always see it might be support Shen. Unlikely, but possible.
Yeah, definitely true. Still flexible down there. As far as the engage options too, I just assume that Perks is going to be very frequently stealing away the Sejuani ultimate. And so they'll try and get some more engage, that way. Plus, it is another one of these fairly easy to set up for Talia options. Meanwhile, CoreJJ does get swapped over that Shen, and they get the Jace counter into Renekton.
Yep.
This is one that does still have synergy with Sejuani, because Jace will try and poke out the Renekton early, try and get the Renekton off of the wave so you can't build up your rage, and then close in for melee form, hammer form. If your Sejuani is there, that is a kill. You can stack up very quickly the passive, and there's plenty of damage potential.
Up to 4 melee champions to stack the Sejuani passive fast and get the point-and-click stun in afterwards. And Tactical is in an army of physical damage champions. Sejuani leans that way, Lee Sin and Jace obviously that way as well, and no one cares about support Shen's damage output. Tactical is the magic damage champion on his team. Similar situation, similar for the Cloud9 jungler Blabber on the Talia. Has good setup through his top laner, absolutely. The Renekton into Talia can look good. And Jace does not have those same disengage tools that a Shen does, so it is volatile up there.
I'm so excited.
Me too.
we had a Masterminds game where I did have to play Talia jungle, and Demonte flamed me a little bit.
You wanted to play fully like the entire week I was on.
It's been a long time, so let's see it. How is Blabber's Talia? I expect it to be up to par here. I also very frequently will look for level 1 invades when you have this champion, because you can have such successful jungle invades, especially if you can play off some winning lanes. So immediately, right out of the gate, Cloud9 are doing just that.
Here we go. Cloud9 on their way towards the top side. They're going to see if they have some kind of answer to how Flurry plays the beginning on Jace. Walks to try, then walks out. He's like, wait a second, no. The shenanigans possible are too much for me. We're just going to play it really defensively, play far back, because indeed, yeah, Trinket Ward could have meant maybe Vulcan finds a knockback or anything. And end of the day, it is a Tri-Brush Ward that Fudge will try to abuse. Ooh, might be a late invade towards red, and actually, TL are unaware of this invade right now. Quick spot. Okay, Perks wants to stop Santorin's recall. Does so. Ooh. And that's just a, Trinket Ward put down. I don't believe they should have given away vision. I don't believe it was possible for Vulcan to be seen.
No, but you just assume that they're there, because you're facing a Rakan, and Rakan's almost, very frequently at least, will start the W so you can go over the back of the pit. And so very frequently you'll do this pincer movement where you're trying to guess and pin someone against the Rakan that has jumped over the wall. So you just assume now there's going to be vision.
All right, if you want to take a dip into the waters of LCS analysis, we've got a coach standing by. Mithy is here to talk to us about how Cloud9 are doing in this one.
Thank you, Freak. I had to talk to Mithy. Talia make an appearance in this matchup. Why was this a choice to draft here in this game?
Well, it worked pretty well for us in Spring Split, and we just thought, why not give it a try? And it's been working quite well for us in Scrims, so thought it was the right time.
Why not? And on the other side for Team Liquid, they're running back the Lee Sin. They've got the Ziggs. They've got the Sejuani as well. A couple other differences. You snagged the Renekton. What in-game does Cloud9 need to do to execute and suppress them this time around?
Well, I think our last game was pretty good. We managed to actually fight back early game. So I think we have the right conditions to do the same this game. So excited for that.
There's always a lot of pressure that comes with going for the reverse sweep, though. Is there anything in particular you told your team to go for that exact goal?
No, I think we're used to reverse sweeps at this point. I think we're just taking it one game at a time. We sort of like have a plan going in and then understand and try to adapt to how they're playing and what their strengths are, what we're not doing too well. And so far, it's been working out pretty well. So I'm excited to see how this game goes.
So am I, Mithy. Always great getting your insight. Let's go ahead and send things back to insert duo name here.
Thank you. I appreciate that one. I'm a fan.
Okay, insert something.
Huh?
Is that insert duo name here? Insert something.
I have inserted. Thank you, Gabby. I appreciate that one. That's our duo name.
That's our name.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, we're just.
We are the Gabby fan club. Thank you, Gabby.
Absolutely, yes. Le Tigris, I think, is quite excellent. So, ups there. And by the way, nearly the pullback on a Jensen is able to ward hop safely to get away as the supports had roamed down as well. And for the first time, it's Cloud9 with the first move on to mid.
And it's time for Crabber to emerge, freak. Support timers mean everything here. Core JJ's walking up as well. No shield left on the Crab, but no smite for Blabber means too bad. The Crab is not yours. Santorin's got the smite. He's got the Crab and teleports right back out for both mids.
A little bit of damage comes out. Good job, Perks. But now with the junglers and mid laners coming around, they're still looking for more. Taunt's going to land at a 2. Lee's in for a bit more. Perks gets away for a moment. Core JJ's one in from Dead, but he gets a shield. And they can't get the rest of the damage. Vulcan jumps in. Vulcan jumps out. Ignite on Jensen will not find the kill. Actually, yeah, it was Ignite, but he survives all the same.
A little bit greedy with the seismic shove. He wanted to get both of them there and doesn't quite get Core for the kill. Should just go for the lowest health target. A little bit greedy, really wanted both, but still Cloud9 will be able to push in. Bottom Crab will definitely be secured, but they're also trying to force him off the minions.
It's going to be a little spicy. Keep in mind, mid lane turret, like top lane, takes half damage in the first 6 minutes of the game, so they get really nothing.
Yeah.
5 minutes of the game, so they get nothing out of this damage. It would have been a turret plate if it was somewhere else, but not going to be the case here. By the way, check out the dive every Tuesday at 5 a.m. Pacific.
Yeah, Freak is on it very frequently.
Yeah, once every 6 episodes, you bring me along.
A lot more recently with all the... here we go!
Oh, big damage. A flash away for Jensen. Q's back in. Does he follow it? The health bars are pretty low. He goes in, and it's first blood, the Team Liquid. And Cloud9 want to trade it back. They'll get one. Under the turret they go. Perks running from minions. Blabber staying alive just barely. 1 for 1, but first blood TL.
I'm loving the 3v3 tag teams in mid lane, Freak. They go for another all-out brawl, and this time Team Liquid are the ones getting a kill, getting blood for their money here. This one almost evens it right back up. This means bottom lane has been left to their own devices. Sven still with a very sizable CS lead for himself, even with Tactical being able to push that last wave under tower and harass him a little bit.
Core JJ just doing the big roams, making sure he knows what all the wards look like, gets rid of the blast cone that could help Blabber make a faster gank. And now he's here in time. Why is the man there? But the dice is good enough. Just gets away from the taunt.
Super close there. Core JJ, though, has been gone from bottom lane for maybe longer than he's been in bottom lane this game. I would say that is true. Okay, so knockup did hit 3, but then the response taunt from Core JJ was so big. I was quite surprised that Jensen actually went back in, but it was very, very rewarding for them. They pick up the kill. One is traded back in the end, almost getting the second one there, though. And with the extra shield, really meant a lot. Supports do not play bottom lane, freaks. Supports are map players.
Yes.
Vulcan now has taken his turn with his ticket up to top side.
This is a very exciting game, though. It's tied right now on the scoreboard as Raptors will not be taken away. Perks is not rewarded for his efforts, really. Top lane lead.
Core went back to base and came back topside. No supports in bottom, and they're fighting again.
And they're finding a knock-up into a knockback into the combos that they wanted. You thought it was an Ecton? Nah. It's the setup from everyone else as they will dunk back into Perks, but now Fudge has arrived. The Ecton level 6. Kicked right back out by the Jace. No kill to be had. TP does nothing.
Keep the rumble going, freak. They know all games of this series have been won by the early lead, and so everybody's spending every resource they possibly can muster up towards these mid-lane skirmishes. Fight over this control ward does result in the control ward dying. No extra knock-up lands, but it's another crab for Cloud9 on top of the pick.
The goal difference pretty small right now, but it is a bit TL favored, as Fudge is going to have a really big wave crash into Alfari's turret, and that's going to be a bit of money for this Jace, who's already gone for early healing cut, because realistically, you're always going to land an auto on Renekton, and yeah, that Q is going to do 40% less healing. Make that lane a lot harder.
All right. Definitely way more time spent by supports out of bottom lane than in bottom lane now.
I love this,
I actually want to track this stat as we're progressing through this game. Can we get live updates? This has got to be most roaming we've ever had from two of the top supports in the league, and they're just playing topside now.
Yeah. And hey, you know, Sven and Tactical, they're just farming back and forth. Sven's clapping him, by the way. Sven is easily out laning, but honestly, okay, you get a 300 gold lead from CS. The roams are worth way more.
River Shen and River Rakan now are the new evolutions of the LCS. I love it because they've actually been impactful. Now, Rift Herald has actually spawned on top side. You have even more rewards possible for the next brawl that is won here, and you can already see investments into control wards to make sure this doesn't go down without a fight. Santorin, now level 6 on Sejuani, is huge for these brawls. It means significantly more than the level 6 from Talia, because the wall, there's a possibility of getting a good wall off and sectioning someone, but the Sejuani brings so much power for bursting down a single target at this point in the game, where the champion health is extremely low compared to the amount of CC that you're actually bringing to the team fight.
All right. Well, Santorin safely able to farm. Vulcan coming back in a mid as Jensen and Perks may trade blows. Keep in mind, reinforcements have arrived. Gonna land the first stun. Not gonna find the knockup as Jensen's able to jump back. Goes right back in, and here is Shen. Here's Sejuani, and here's a kill on a Perks, and Vulcan's got nowhere to go either. The man is gonna drop, and Team Liquid get the better of Cloud9 in the mid lane.
The team that flinches first in mid, who doesn't have the jungler also hovering, loses out. Freak Team Liquid. They stayed true to the mid lane brawl, and they are rewarded now. The Rift Herald's under attack. Sejuani level 6 is so crazy impactful for these early skirmishes. That CC undeniable. Now C9 still contesting though. Teleport used and Sven walked up.
Oh, barely not going to get that route. That could have been huge. That could have been a pick, but it is going to be TL able to walk away. It does mean that this is going to be an objective claim. Yeah, okay. FTX gold lead 1,400, but that'll drop by a fair bit once this Herald crashes in and finds some turret plates.
Teleport right back out for Perks, and since no walk up from Tactical, that means that Team Liquid, they will get bottom lane pushed in. I want to check. There was 4 plates before we went into this replay on bottom side. Tactical is down there on Ziggs, who's quite good at getting them. He's gotten 1 by himself. He pushed the wave in. As you can see, still farming quite a lot. And yeah, you know the story here as far as the mid lane. Locked him up with the Sedge passive, then uses the ultimate. That's how you always want to do it. If you have to use the ultimate first, then you are unable to further stack up passives afterwards for the duration on that cooldown. So you get the maximum out of your crowd control. Plenty of execution there. Jensen goes back in on that Lee Sin that he's been performing on. And Team Liquid, they got the kill. They did not get the Rift Herald in the aftermath, but they still have secured their gold lead because it was paid by some extra money from Tactical. He got 2 plates for the Ziggs on bottom.
Alrighty, Tactical is back into the bottom lane, level 8 on a Ziggs. He's got solo lane XP because
both of them have. They're solo lane bottom players.
Basically solo laning. The stat I was told that I'm waiting to get the double check on is 0% and 4% duo procs. But I believe they at least started their lane.
0%?
But like, I think they at least started the game in lane. So you know, there might be like a minute it started at, but that's still amazing.
Okay, so duo procs for everybody while this fight breaks out.
Yeah, we gotta wait for this one because Alfari is bringing in a Shen, a double taunt to follow up. Oh, it's just beautiful by Team Liquid. Fudge does flash the wall. But, I mean, Core JJ is everywhere.
Line him up and knock him down. Yep, now he's Shen access to level 6, so he also joins on that one. Jensen fancies himself a trade.
Okay, yeah, and I've been told that we track duo procs from basically 130 when the waves crash, so they're just out of there.
Literally 0%. That's insane. Okay, so dual proximity for everybody listening is the percentage of time that you spend next to your duo partner or within 1,500 range.
Yeah. And so just Core JJ hasn't.
That's actually insane. Oh, look at him right now. Recalled once again. They're both back out to the map. Rakan is top-side, and Core JJ is headed right down mid, as you should, so you can split to either side that the play is. He's playing with the synergies, Freak. He's River Shen, playing with Sejuani on his team. It's actually expected.
That's true. Core JJ watched North American great Spica and was like, I can do this.
Definitely true. Uh-oh, he's getting within 1,500 range.
Wow. All right. Well, we're gonna hope we can round this one down. Keep it down to
1,500,
0.
by the way, is about Nidalee Spear
Yeah.
range for people if you want to get visualization.
It's like a bit of a mystic shot. As okay, nice. Fudge gets the wave, gets some damage to Alfari, gets a nice hit back. Always very smart, by the way. Right, champions are cooldown based. When Fudge is out of cooldowns, Alfari goes, he's got nothing up on auto attacks. Q's back in for a hit. It looks out pretty good. First dragon picked up there by Team Liquid. Herald charge in mid goes decently, but does not quite claim plate number 3. So just only a little bit of gold. TL still pretty well ahead.
Yeah, and Dragon picked up while the Rift Herald was being used mid. So Team Liquid, they finally have Core JJ on bottom, then they finally get a bottom lane objective. Tactical right after the Dragon 2 just gets right back to pushing. This is where it's really fun to play Ziggs after you are able to just spam these waves down. So gets another plate for himself. That one getting dangerously close to execution range as well.
Oh, Fudge thought he was going to go and push him with the wave, so he pre-ults for the Rage so that he can get the Empowered Stun right away off the dash, but ultimately doesn't get the guess correct. The time doesn't matter, right? Herald's not up for a while, Dragon's not up for a while. You get the ulti back, but you know it's a risk with very low punishment and pretty high reward. Mid laner's still fighting. Perks, keep in mind, by the way, has a Shen ult to his name, but no one to jump to.
I love watching the levels of the supports too. Vulcan here is sitting at level 6. Core JJ has got a little bit more on the kill participation as well as soaking some waves, so is up to the level 7. Definitely really matters when you're able to convert on some of those. And your Shen ultimate also being back up for a next play here means he's got a lot more versatility than Vulcan does. So Vulcan kind of forced to wait in more brush.
Nice by Perks, gets to cheat his way back into lane. He's like, well, I recalled, and I'm just going to Shen ult to our Rakan, and cool, we're in there, gets the wave, gets to walk out. Want to point out, Team Liquid have taken 6 turret plates this game. Cloud9 have only gotten the 2 from the Rift Herald charge, so again, Tactical on the chain push. He's down 8 CS, but he's up 480 from turret plates, and now just goes wide, 3 points in, still a big slow, and Perks is running low on health, pushed back, barely staying alive, gets a big heal, and this will be 1-0 so far. The re-engage looks good as Jensen takes down 1. Flash E comes in for more. Alfari wants Fudge, he should have the damage, and one more shot will do him in. Look at that, the seismic shove looks good, the knockup's pretty good as well, but it's not going to be any more kills. Team Liquid 2-1 in that fight.
I love watching Jensen play with this much confidence and this much killer instinct.
Yeah.
Him on Lee Sin this series has been just night and day from previous iterations. He chases this one down, gets the extra kill once again. Team Liquid at the top, just racking up so much money. You went over the value of that Rift Herald, and we counted 2 turret plates from Tactical during the bottom lane push. He should be able to
he got it in time.
Get his shove off, and he does.
That's a good read. When he hit the first Q and said, wait, the next one's hitting the same place, this is a TP channel. I need a seismic shove now. Good read, because none of that gives vision. So that was a really smart play by Blabber to identify in time. He guessed the Q location on time as well. Really well done. Brings it back a little bit, but it is still a rough look as Fudge and Alfari, I mean, this is going all the way of Team Liquid. Alfari is absolutely top-biffing this entire series. Fudge barely slinks away with his life, but there is no counterplay.
Yep, making good use of that Jace counter pick. Moves in very quickly with the rest of the team. Also does not overcommit for the kill onto Fudge, so the rest of Team Liquid can reset. You see they've got very deep vision once again. Super well utilized, I would also say, because every time they put it up, they get some value out of it. This vision is not just standing there. It is mining extra minions, mining extra camps for themselves. Core JJ has a quarter of a timer left on his Shen ultimate coming right back up too, and they'll look to make another proactive play off of it.
Alrighty, we'll give you the final, do a prox update soon. And by the way, between 3 and 15 minutes, but we'll give the final score for both supports in a moment, because right now there's a scuttle fight going on, or a Herald fight. I get that wrong constantly. I'll fix it one day. Santorin gets aftershock on. He's fighting Vulcan, gets away. Stun's going to land, but there's no follow-through just yet, as the Zonias gets away from the Ziggs ulti. Vulcan's on the way out. Decent damage out from Blabber, and here comes the flank play. Jensen gets the kick, Jensen gets the Q, and they're gonna get Perks down. Blabber is next, but Blabber will not fall. He trades one back. Vulcan low, out though, gonna stay alive. Snipe's gonna get some decent damage, but not a kill just yet. 1 for 1.
Fudge 1
but
for 4.
Fudge wants in, but can't get it to happen. Shock Blast lands. Seismic Shove is not the kill. The Ziggs gets it at the end. Tactical finds the kill. 2-1 again for Team Liquid.
I'm loving these low health plays, Freak. So incredibly close. They want to be the difference makers. Fudge goes in 1v4 to try and pick up that kill. Just barely can't get it, but then Blabber over the wall. Seismic shoving and drawing out that Shen cooldown. Let's take another look at your Rift Herald start by Cloud9. 2.4k health left on it, so Santorin, he's just looking for the stun onto Blabber. Barely any time between the stun going off and his Zhonya's opening. Blabber barely got his Zhonya's off. He immunes the damage from the Ziggs ultimate, tries to kite away. Jensen then baited in and tries to chase him down, does die on the deep chase from Team Liquid, and you think they're going to get out of it with just low health after this, but Fudge really wanted that flash play. His auto was almost enough to finish off Core JJ, and then Blabber over the wall does shove back and get the Shen ultimate out, but it ends up costing Fudge his life and just the cooldown from Shen ultimate from the side of Team Liquid. So the extra bit just going over their way once again. It feels like these incremental advantages just keep adding up for Team Liquid.
And so far in the series, who has controlled the early game has controlled the game itself. TL poised for a victory here. Final update on Duo Procs once again from minute 3 through minute 15.
Okay.
12 minutes, which means every, 10% is 1.2 minutes if my brain works properly. 0.4% for Core JJ. After the cannon wave, he just never saw that man again. He's like, I'm out. I got something else going on. Vulcan at 6.4%. Spent 1 minute, which is basically the Herald play. That's all it was.
See, whoever flinches first makes the extra play for the team on top side of the map. And that 0.4% for Core JJ was only at the very end, heading down for Dragon.
Yeah.
And Tactical coming up to Core JJ. So definitely been a fun opening in this game, and it has been Team Liquid the victors of the early game once again. Now all that's left is to make use of those Zig bombs. There's another example there, executes yet another tower.
I absolutely love Ziggs in early game comps. All you want to do is say, oh, did you win lane and put it at half HP? Let me finish the job, buddy. 300 gold going my way.
Plus, it does fine laning by himself, just focusing on the minion wave clearing. Then all the kill threat of possible, support interactions is gone, and he's only about mana management.
I mean, he was in a 1v1 against Ven and went up 3 turret plates, because guess what? You auto-shove and just, use your passive.
Yeah, and 2 of the turret plates were taken during the time that Sven rotated up for the Rift Herald.
True.
So that exchange of gold and experience was quite good for Team Liquid.
It was. So here we go. FTX gold advantage, 4,000 as we crest 20 minutes, and this time it's also with the first 2 dragons. So time is short for Cloud9. There is a sub 30-minute Infernal Soul on the Rift at this point if Cloud9 cannot find their way back in.
I'm just already envisioning the Core JJ interview about the River Shen and the timing and the 0.4% duo procs. Cloud9 are not out of it, though. Blabber here on this Taliyah pick. They brought it back out. It's in combination with Renekton. He's trying to make a side lane play here. Maybe he can get over to Vulcan to allow him to escape out of the pit, and he does. Gives him a little hand up.
And there were reinforcements. So Alfaria waited in the brush. If there's a play to be had, maybe we can make something go through, but as there were Cloud9 reinforcements, he takes the safe approach, locks it out, and we go for the next one here. Zhonya's Hourglass is done for the Taliyah. Maybe would like to see a bit more damage because you are on the losing team. You want to kind of finish those kills, but it's a very minor point all the same. Finishes the red.
Yeah, I do understand it as far as so much dive and locking you up for Ziggs bomb. Remember if that previous one had hit on him right out of the stun, you're actually just dead as Taliyah. So he's looking for some sort of outplay timing window. Definitely going to be difficult to pull off, but if they can set it up with some sort of structure, Rakan set up into Renekton and Taliyah, the possibility is still there for Cloud9. It's just been such a difficult series for them, dealing with this extremely confident, extremely decisive version of Team Liquid.
Cool to see. It is really nice to see, because this was the lamentation of Team Liquid, was the fact that they just didn't do anything for so long, and it's like, well, we're going to scale. I keep thinking back to, I believe it was the Peter Dunn interview, head coach of Evil Geniuses, talking about how this is a battle for the soul of the LCS. Like, EG trying to reinvent the LCS as an aggressive region. You know, like, hey, our best teams are the ones who take advantages, win lanes, and snowball the rest of the game. And this is how it's going to work. This is how we're going to do well internationally. And we watched this series, we're like, all right, here's Cloud9 and TL. They're both waiting to scale a fair bit. And no, it is early aggression. It is taking it to them. It's aggressive ganks. It's good laning phases. And it's cool to see that kind of across the region, right, we are skewing more aggressive. It's fun to see.
Yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of teams that have been edging towards that strategy. You know, you mentioned Cloud9 themselves as Santorin sets up the stun.
Gonna have some damage. CoreJJ blocks zone is on, but now they go back in for some damage. He's gonna have to burn his stopwatch to stay alive. Reinforcements have arrived. The flash comes across, and the ult goes wide as Perk steals it away from Sejuani. Turrets falling now is, that's 4 for Team Liquid.
Still rewarded for their split push on bottom side. Another one falls, more money in the bank, and more wards in the jungle. They've done such a good job utilizing this Sejuani, and just think of it, you know, this was a champion that Grig had so many games on, but incorporating Santorin here with the very aggressive look of it, of having these synergies with the solo laners, and constantly fighting, constantly looking for these plays.
Yep. Hey, they came in with what feels like a strategy, right? Okay, tactical, you're going to be on 1v, like,
Oh,
1vx
it feels like a strategy, all right.
Yeah, you're on 1vx champions. You are alone in bot lane. CoreJJ's hard roaming. We are playing around winning solos. This is the style they wanted. We knew in around week 6 they were going to choose who their top laner was. Alfari, very lane dominant, wants to play for himself, calls for himself to say, here's what I need, here's what I want. Jenkins is, you know, much more passive, much more weak side. And they said, we want to play around strong top side. And they have now built a strategy 4 games in a row where they're playing around those solos.
And they've also been, you know, decently versatile, because the trend up in roaming from CoreJJ started when they declared full-time Alfari. You know, they immediately had that game where he's up there ganking over and over. But then they also showed, you know, like Malphite top games and showed that versatility. So best of 5s, still having a lot of options for the team. Dragon number 3 will be taken without any sort of sniff here from Cloud9. They want to make the cross-map play instead and get payment in the form of Alfari.
First knock up, there's the knock back, a lot of damage. Shen arrives, and Shen is going to fall. They get 2 for nothing. And how good's a tower dive going to look now? Perks has the Shen ult. He can keep someone alive as Jensen's just on his way out. Great charm and a knock up and a knockback into everything that they need. It's gonna be a 3-0 topside for Cloud9.
Cloud9 found a bargain on Team Liquid members, Freak. They only were going for 1 in the Alfari kill for the topside play, but they get 3 for their money's worth, with the ants going marching in one by one. Shen ultimate teleport coming in. They get 3 kills. They start up the Baron. Santorin does have smite. He does have flash. Can he get the steal, though?
Can it happen? It's at 2K. He gets the stun. He's going to get a lot of damage.
Oh, he did it!
Let's go, Santorin! The smite is good!
They get 3 for 1 on Team Liquid members, but Santorin gets a 1-for-0 freebie on the Baron. Freak, he steals it away. Whoa. Clutch plays in playoff series. Santorin is back on the roster. He has worked through headaches. He has worked through migraines. He's been dealing with so much. And this man is performing out of his mind on the series today. Him and Jensen have been just outstanding for Team Liquid. And in another clutch play, he comes up huge. One of the biggest things you can do as a jungler, stealing back that Baron, that big objective after your team has gone down.
Okay. Now let's see what's next. How much are you going to get? 2,000 gold lead right now in the Red Bull Baron power play. CoreJJ not going to be knocked up, and now Santorin might get his way back in. Ziggs bomb comes across Blabber, nearly dead, and has to run for his life. Already they've knocked the support down, and Blabber, you're not long for this world. No way out either. It's a 2-0. Looking for a third. Absolutely, they're going to get him. Santorin on another kill. 3, 2, and 9 leads the team in kills. He is popping off a stolen Ziggs ult. He kills part of a wave, but it feels like this is done and dusted. The first 2 TL wins were under 30 minutes. We're at 26 and change already. The FTX gold lead is 6.3 thousand, and now we go for Nexus turrets. 1 is down. Time for the second. 15 seconds on Blabber. Another 5 beyond that on the bot lane. Trying to defend this one in the 3v5. It's not quite going to be enough. The Nexus turrets are down, and the front line will not hold any longer. Stopwatches mean nothing as Perks runs for his life. Fudge is going to die as well. and Team Liquid, definitively the better team. Every single win in under half an hour apiece. They drop a single game, but they will drop Cloud9 more convincingly as blabber tries his best to stay alive, but it's not going to be enough. One last ult and one last Nexus. Team Liquid demolish Cloud9.
Playoff TL are just built different, Freak. Insane performance from them. Poor JJ, 0.4% duo proximity for the first 15 minutes of this game. Play after play after play. Jensen and Santorin combined over the course of this series for so many mid-jungle setups. This team is just on fire in playoffs.
What a great week of prep for Team Liquid. Santorin had not played Sejuani all year. Tactical had not played Ziggs at any point in time in his career. And here they came swinging. Early game leads. Every single win under 30 minutes. Every single one was faster than the last one. Obviously a clutch smite by Santorin to stop what could have been an easy comeback. It felt like if C9 got that smite, if blabber got that smite, that was maybe a Cloud9 win. But Santorin came in clutch. He was excellent in all the other games as well. And it came through in the end.
Woo, Team Liquid. All right, with that win in the upper bracket for Team Liquid, they're feeling extremely confident.
Yep.
They've also put a little bit more fear into the rest of the league as far as what they can bring to these best of 5 series. So I really do feel like there are a lot of options for this team.
They get a week to get ready for TSM. And TSM get a week to get ready for them. And honestly, this feels nothing like the TL I've been casting all year long. This feels rejuvenated. It feels ready to go. I'm excited to watch them play some more.
I mean, they had such a bumpy road in dealing with the new meta. People are talking so much about solo lanes, having a hard time adapting to all these melee solo laners and everything. Let's take another look at the pro view of the smite from Santorin. 400-something health, and it was just clean. Q right in. Able to get the timing there. That is a difficult one, but that is a flip that you kind of have to take in that situation. I'm trying to think what other possibilities of keeping Santorin out of the back of the pit that Cloud9 could have gone for, because they already had taken down 2 members.
Yep.
But they didn't have a lot of extra tools.
Yeah, I mean, this was obviously good coordination.
And there's
Tactical
Flash
threw
still
damage
on the
in.
sedge too.
Yeah, Tactical threw in damage at the same time, so they kind of bursted it together from about 1,400. Like, that's a good combo by the squad.
But he lands a smite at seeing 400-something health.
Yeah, I mean, he's going in, like, I think I'm going to guess, if we ever talk to him, it's like he's going to go in off of the tactical damage, and he's going to smite as the bombs land, and just, like, that's going to be the timer. Because you know what kind of damage your Ziggs deals at this point in time. Like, you know it's like, okay, it's like to the 800-ish degree. So jump in 1,500, throw the skill shots, hit the smite when you expect them to land, and that's the timer, right? And so you own the cards, right? You own the burst. That's just me talking about it.
Yeah, I mean, both sides can see.
Of course. Like I said, it is a complex thing.
I agree, though. And that's why I say it's one of the most impressive things for junglers to be able to pull off. That was just the cherry on top of what was already an amazing series by Santorin. So
yes,
definitely congratulations to Team Liquid. Meanwhile, Cloud9 collision course with the Golden Guardians in the lower bracket for playoffs. They're going to now have to make the run all the way back up if they want one of those world spots.
And honestly, that's going to be a fun series as well. I know we've heard, I think it was a Blazalo from Golden Guardians say, I don't think anyone thinks we're the 8th best team. And Cloud9 obviously looked quite mortal today. We heard from Cold say, hey, they looked at all the Cloud9 games and said, we looked at the losses and we came up with a really obvious idea of why they lose games. So we went for it, and their play style today worked really, really well on the TL side. Okay, Golden Guardians, you were just handed another playbook of here's how Cloud9 loses games. Can they replicate that?
Core JJ spent so much time roaming. Golden Guardians support is named Chime. You know where that come from? Bard. Who roams more than Bard?
Rivershen, apparently.
Rivershen does. Actually true. Facts. Facts. Rivershen does.
He does. That'll be fun, though. That will be a fun series. I mean, TL TSM is going to be an exciting series. Whoever wins that one is headed to Worlds, is headed to the bracket. EG 100 Thieves, whoever's winning that one's headed to Worlds. The rest of the teams are running through the lower bracket to find that run going. I mean, it feels like we have 4 really sick-looking teams right now who could all win the title and it's going to be really exciting. So this is going to be a fun postseason. Keep in mind, again, next matches start on Thursday after this or that with Kobe and whoever. We've got an interview on stage with Jensen. Gabby, insert host here. Take it away.
Thank you. Freak insert player here. We've got Jensen here from Team Liquid for the interview. I'm going to work a little backwards in this because we're coming off such a hot game. First thing I want to know, why
That's a problem.
where JJ plays is much more like a jungler in that case than a support because of how much he roams.
Yeah, so because we knew it was going to be a bloodthirsty game with the champions that were picked, he wanted a pick that could kind of like influence the map a lot more. And then I guess the whole game, it felt like we were just playing 3v3 mid and then occasionally fighting a bit top, and bot lane 80 carries were kind of just, playing their own game. So yeah, I guess we needed some sort of fighting, and Shen provided that. It wasn't really a pick we had planned much, but it kind of just fit the situation well, so I guess he went for it.
Yeah, he went for it, and y'all went for the victory there in the end, closing out the series. I do want to ask a bit about Santorin because he got that crazy Baron play right there. You've had an additional week now with him in practice, and you have already noted in multiple interviews the fact that the synergy is there. How is that developing, and what is it like having him for that clutch factor here in the playoffs?
Yeah, I mean, the Baron steal was for sure game-changing. But it feels good to be back working with Santorin. I think, I had already planned, or we've talked a lot about how we want to play mid-jungle. So during the regular season, it was a bit tough for me to, have to adjust to a new jungler and the whole style thing. So, having him back, it's a lot more comfortable for me to really play how I want to and be on the same page together with him. So, yeah, I mean, he did great today.
And you were together plenty in the mid lane making the plays. Jensen, a lot of people were commending you for your play here on the Lee Sin. Team Liquid overall looking more aggressive than usual, extremely clean. What happened between last week and now with you and the team to have us be able to see this level of play?
Last week, yeah. I think we had a lot of draft issues that we kind of, had to figure out going into playoffs, how we wanted to play and what kind of style really fit us. So we were trying out a lot of different things in the regular season, but now that we're in playoffs, we've decided on how we want to play the game and kind of found our style, I guess. And we've kind of just been working on that the past week, and it's been going pretty well.
And diving a bit more into that style, I know that Travis Gafford had asked you in the interview about Peter Dunn's statements about the soul of the LCS, aggressive teams facing off against teams like Team Liquid that traditionally have this identity of playing more patiently. But here we see you being aggressive. Do you think that style of play in general is just something that is important to adapt as you go through the playoffs, contending against not just the teams in the LCS, but beyond?
It depends, because a lot of times there's not a big payout if you play these aggressive early game champs. So you'd, probably get outscaled if you play against control mages or scaling 80 carries. So it definitely has its risk, but you just have to find a good balance between having good skirmish early game and also having a solid late game. And I think that's kind of something we've been working on a lot. And yeah, I mean, I think just, for international play and all that, you just have to play what works best for your team. And sometimes for some teams, scaling is the way.
And diving a bit more into the mid lane matchup that you had today, because there were a few different variances in it. Some were talking about the fact that, Perkz should be doing more for his team. Others were saying, well, Team Liquid didn't give them a chance, how much pressure they were offering in mid. How do you evaluate the way that mid lane matchup played out throughout this series?
Yeah, I mean, when I think of C9, a lot of their strengths come from their 3v3 mid as well, with Vulcan and Blabber playing around Perkz a lot. And I think today we did a great job matching it, and we had some strong early game champs that was able to contest them. So I don't really think there was, too much that he could have done differently. Maybe I have to watch the games, but yeah, I felt like we kind of just drafted in a good way that works pretty well against C9 and held Perkz under control, yeah.
They did take the one game from Team Liquid, though, in game number 3. Is there anything that you as a squad took away from that, or was it more of a brush it off our shoulders, we know what happened, we're going to secure it next?
Yeah, I mean, it kind of felt like we just gave them Exodia. They had all the most OP champs in the game on the same team. So I think, we went into the prep for the 4th game saying, we just need to not give them Exodia and have more balanced team comps and we'll win.
Now you got a whole week until your next matchup. You're facing off against TSM. Thoughts as you move on in the winner's side of the bracket?
I mean, I thought C9 would be harder than TSM, so I'm feeling pretty confident going into TSM.
All right, a little confidence boost for yourself going into the rest of the playoffs. Congratulations, Jensen, on the victory here today. And thank you again for joining me here on the stage.
Thank you.
We are going to kick it to a break right now, everybody. But on the other side, we will continue to break down this matchup on the analyst desk. See you there, friends.
They've got to get the Mountain Drake here if they want to have any chance of being able to salvage this game. But no! It's stolen away at the last moment with a beautiful smite to end this game. GG, well played!
You know what's funny? What? Money.
You want it, I got it. You want it. The money, the power, the fame and the glory. Been putting in hours. I just want what's ours. The money, respect. Put that on our name. It's getting too easy. We looking the game. Everything I always wanted, I got it. Took a minute, but I did it regardless. Working for days. Can't keep living up no minimum wage. I've been down before, but I want the ball. Sometimes I come up short, I wish I was tall. But when the pockets fat, they get right back small. I used to wish that I could shop at the mall. I ain't stopping till I reach the top and that's all. I can't stop until my family evolve. Don't make me have to get my family involved. You don't know how much your happiness solves. You never know what you can be if you quit. That's the reason that we even exist. People hating, it don't stop me at all. Who are they to tell me I ain't the shit? We're never gonna die, we're living on. We're running out of time, we're in control. Oh yeah, invincible. Oh yeah, invincible. We ain't never gonna die. The money, the power, the fame and the glory. Been putting in hours. I just want what's ours. The money, respect. Put that on our name. It's getting too easy. We looking the game. It's getting too easy. We looking the game. We ain't never gonna die. We're living on. We're running out of time. We're in control. Oh yeah, invincible. Oh yeah, invincible. We ain't never gonna die. The money, the power, the fame and the glory. Been putting in hours. I just want what's ours. The money, respect. Put that on our name. It's getting too easy. We looking the game. We ain't never gonna die.
Welcome back to the LCS, where we are lucky enough to be joined by none other than Santorin here after the 3-1 victory over Cloud9. And I just wanted to throw this out there for the record that I was the only person on this desk who believed in Team Liquid to win this series before the day started. So
I can find the clip where I said Team Liquid was going to win, but I said 4 different things. So.
That's true, right?
Yeah, Mark covered all of his bases. I think
The-
different things, every single piece of
The
content.
dive version of Mark Z was right. But first of all, congratulations on the victory. That's a big one to kick things off. I think for many, we're still kind of reeling just from the idea that Team Liquid versus Cloud9 was a first series of the postseason. Like, for you and yourself, like, did this feel, or at least coming into it, where you're like, this is the toughest first round matchup I've ever had in my life?
Definitely. I don't think I've ever thought about something like that, especially when you consider login tournament and spring split. It was TL versus C9.
Yeah.
So seeing that being like pretty much like a quarterfinals, I'd never expect that, and that's also why I think like there's so much on the line here, because it's like C9, TL, T7, one of us won't go to Worlds, so this was like a really big win for us.
I think one of the reasons why, myself included, a lot of people, I guess, underestimated how well you guys were going to perform was because this roster iteration is the one that you wanted. However, you've had the least amount of time together.
Yeah.
And today, quite honestly, you played better than most other NA teams I've seen play all year in terms of like some in-game execution stuff. So what, like, I know they asked Jensen this before, but like, what happened, man?
I mean, first of all, our last game against C9, I feel like our draft was hard to play out.
Yes.
It was something.
Yeah, so I mean, the only concept we had in mind is like C9 loves to scrap, we love to scrap, just have the better scrap composition. So that's why we're playing like Sejuani, Lee Sin, like these very active early game champions, and just try to like snowball through that, because I think C9 is a worse team if they don't have the early game advantage. So that's kind of like the strategy we're using.
And for you personally, like the Sejuani duty, was this something that like coming into the series, you're like, yes, guys, I was waiting for a reason to play Sejuani, or was it just like scrappy solo laners gonna be melee champions and Sejuani fills that niche well?
Pretty much. I don't think I played Sejuani in the solo queue for a very long time. But we practiced it a bit in the scrims. Obviously with Amao, we were playing it a lot too and had a lot of success. So it just seemed like the best pick against the way C9 plays. So that's why we went forward.
One thing I did want to touch upon in draft, and obviously it was kind of the most experimental one, which was the third game, because I actually really liked Trundle into Xinjiao, but you took it incredibly early, so I want you to walk me through what your thought process was.
Yeah, I think the biggest issue was there was a Fresh on the other team. Usually...
You don't say.
Yeah, flaming our coach a little bit. But I just feel like usually like that matchup, you've seen in other regions too. Like if the Xiao doesn't have someone that can pull him out, if you pillar him, you can like start hitting him. He has to ult, and stylistically that is a good matchup.
Yeah.
But if there's a Fresh, you can always just get the pull out. So I feel like in the draft phase, we just didn't actually think they were gonna leave up Fresh first of all, because they're banning Fresh a lot. So we were prepared, but we made a critical error.
I mean, we were all saying the same thing. Like they just left it for priority because they're banned. I mean, those things happen.
The whole series, though, is kind of interesting in that regard, where there was like kind of immediate priority placed on certain bans and certain picks in games 1 and 2, and then they kind of just went out the window as soon as we get to games 3 and 4, because all of a sudden the Talia pick comes in for the side of Cloud9, which I imagine wasn't necessarily expected. But more than that, I want to discuss this stat that you see on your screen right now. The dual proximity. The dual proximity. Did you even know this?
I didn't know it's that
Record-setting low from Core, by the way.
Yeah,
that is an LCS record.
I think that's lower than my top with Darius, right?
Yeah, exactly. Only the boomers in the audience are going to get that one. But I mean, the fact that both teams, but I think that this stat is very indicative of the point you made very early on, which was it was very clear that it was going to become a game or a series about scrapping, right? Yeah. It wasn't about, each lane in isolation, who gets their own little advantage and push that into something else. No, it was get out of lanes as quickly as possible and focus around a single point of the map. And it appeared that the mid lane was very much that. And I also want to pull in another statistic that Mark brought up during the middle of the series, which is that Jensen, prior to this series, ranked 11th out of 10 teams in mid laners in kills plus assists at 15, which is just to speak to the fact that generally...
You guys didn't play through him at all.
Yeah, it's not an indictment of him. It's more indicative of the style it seems that TL plays, but it felt a distinctly different style. So why was it... Was the mid lane focus more a response to the way that Cloud9 wanted to play, or typically does, or more a choice from you guys, hey, we need to get either Jensen more actively involved, or we feel like we've been ignoring this path to victory, this strategy?
I think it's very much about like draft, how it went out. Sejuani and Lee Sin is a great combo, especially when they're playing stuff like Silas. Like you kind of, whoever is mid the most will probably win mid lane. And since like we had the stronger 3v3, it just felt natural for us.
Core was there. Core was there. 6%.
Vulcan lost the game. He emptied 6%. 6%. 0.
That's what happened.
That's it. That's the whole series.
I mean, they should have been mid from level 1. That's the mistake.
Just put the bot lane.
That said, it came up with a big Baron still here in game 4 as well to bring it all back.
That's what I wanted to ask about, because it felt like the game was thrown at that point after that topside skirmish. Did you feel like if I don't smite this, we lose the game potentially, or was it not quite that dire internally?
I'm not gonna lie, in my head, I'm like, what are we doing? Like this is the one way we can lose the game, and I was starting to feel like a little bit of tilt maybe. But then also in my head, I'm like, this is like we probably lose the game if we don't get this Baron, so I mean, honestly, I didn't think I was going to get this deal, but it's like in my head, it's like I'm at least going to go for the 50-50 and see what happens.
And then to be able to get out anyway, too, right? Like, queue in, flash out.
Soul crushing for this.
It was, yeah, I was gonna say it's very casual looking visually.
Well, you picked up Player of the Series as well, my friend. So congratulations again on that. I know I spoke to you at the end of the regular season last week and already told you how happy I am to see you back in the league. But I'm curious for yourself where you feel as you step back into professional play. Obviously, the accolade speaks to the ability that you have and the performance you put up on the Rift. Do you feel like Santorin is playing at optimal level? Like, where are you at in your?
I'd say I'm getting to optimal. Probably like 85, 90. I mean, I've been playing a lot of solo queue recently, but it's more like playing with the team because this is my second week back. So there's still a lot of optimizations to do. We just don't have more time. So I feel good. I also said in the interview, I'm just going to feel a lot better this week, which I do. So I'm hoping for next week it's even better.
Yeah.
One thing I've noticed that I talked to you about going into this split, like at the very beginning, where you guys had recognized that jungle to lane communication in how you played around Alfari's topside advantage was something that you wanted to work on. And I noticed he was so much more involved today. So like what, and I'm not saying that sarcastically, like that's such an excellent improvement even from what we were seeing at the end of the split. So what went on the team and like what is your communication like with your laners right now?
I think we have a really good dialogue all the time, like always saying like this is what they're gonna do, this is what we're gonna do. Be safe, be careful, like this kind of stuff. I actually can't completely talk about like how it was without me because like I didn't hear all the communication. But for me, I feel like it feels natural for me to like talk a lot to my laners and help them a lot. Vice versa, they also help me a lot. So right now I just feel like the communication flow is really good, and that's why you're seeing more dynamic plays.
Okay, awesome.
Well, it was an incredible first series out here in the postseason, moving right along to face TSM. So that will be an interesting matchup. Perhaps we'll talk about that in just a minute. We got some business here to take care of, though. Santorin, he put up a great performance today, helping his team advance in the bracket. But we have one more test for him this weekend. Hopefully, a more relaxing one.
No, it's higher stakes.
It might be higher stakes, if I'm being honest. We've got the Samsung SSD Fast Clear Fantasy. Now, this is a new segment just for playoffs. So let me break it down for everyone. In the Samsung SSD Fast 5, we rank players in the LCS on functional feats of speed. Fastest to 100 CS, fastest to level 6, fastest to a mythic item. You get it. But just for fun, we wanted to measure something else. Something nobody really asked for, but now I think everyone's going to be thinking about. And that is the fastest possible jungle clear ever. So here's the deal. Any summoner spells, any runes, any champion you want, level 18, full items, a real endgame fantasy. Now, it's one whole side, blue or red, pick your side of the map, plus both scuttle crabs. The time will start when you deal your first tick of damage to a camp, and it ends when the last monster is killed. So both scuttles and 6 camps on one side of the map. How quickly can you clear the jungle? Let's find out, my friend. We didn't want to start with an empty leaderboard, so a few people took some runs. Go ahead and take a look at this Santorin so you can see who's atop the table. Kobe, the only one to break that 50 mark, but we wanted to pitch you against some of the toughest competition, and that, of course, is ourselves. So go ahead, join Raz over at our best friend testing station and see how fast you can clear the camps. Also,
Kobe beat me.
Quick shout out to our stats team, our stats op, Gavin, rather. He managed a sub 40-second speed clear this morning. We don't have video of it, so I'm not even sure I believe it. Not even sure I believe it.
Don't do that. You're
We're gonna have to I tell you what, if no pro player breaks 40 by the end of playoffs, we're gonna have to find footage or make Gavin show it to us. But all right, Santorin, Santorin, as you're at the station, talk us through your logic. You went for Graves.
Shift S to get to where you want to be. There it is.
Why are we going for Graves? What's the logic here? Before you jump in.
Don't touch it first because remember, the moment you touch that crab, timer begins.
Honestly, I wasn't sure what to pick. I feel like there's a lot of dashes, and I love Graves. So we'll see if
anything specific in items.
You check your key binding?
I see Gale Force. That little
I'm not.
I'll let you in on a secret. Good call.
I played Tristana after someone else had played, and they turned off A move for attacking, and I had to actually kite.
Wait, really?
It was not great, and I was still third on the leaderboard.
Okay.
You got it all?
Are you feeling ready here?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Alrighty. Whenever you're ready,
Whenever you're ready.
the timer starts. Boom.
Oh my god. Dude,
You got it.
I like the vision cone. You can see he's a team
Oh my
player.
goodness, he's actually two-shotting.
Wait, I actually one-shot.
Yeah, because they're level 1 camps still.
Wait, they're low.
Because they don't level when you level to 18.
Well, it's
He's
level
moving
18
quick,
because
though.
he hit level 18 first, then the camp spawned, so it is level 18.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
He's
going
just
on that
destroying the
quickly?
camps.
Okay.
I like the ult he had for movement, too. I don't know if it's intentional or what, but
Okay.
it was.
He's got through Krugs. He's got one camp left, and that's a scuttle. He's got to get every single minion. There it is. How does he save time here?
I auto.
Also, I love.
Oh my God!
Also, boom, time. They're gonna cut it there. They'll relay to us. I like the pro player mechanics there. You see him ward when he went into try brush. As if it mattered. As if it matters. The man ward.
The vision cone hit. He's making sure no one's counter jungling him. He hit the.
Your teammates are very grateful.
Yeah, I'm helping the map while doing this.
How did you feel you did?
Not great. I canceled a lot of autos, and there was some slight bad optimization.
Now that you've done it, you feel like Graves was the right choice? You immediately thinking of other champions that may be good?
Yeah, I don't know about champions, but I think I should have taken TP because I didn't know.
TP?
I didn't know that I can start whenever I wanted. So I can put a ward on butt scuttle, and then I can.
We have to check the rules about that. We haven't.
Well, because you guys
we
said,
did not. You're right. We've not established whether or not you could pre-place a ward.
Yeah,
because you
guys
could
said
like.
till
What if I
hit
pick Jin and I just throw traps in a brush?
Yeah, but I mean, you guys said till I hit a camp.
Yeah,
You're right. You're right.
When you guys said
That's
that,
going to be a new rule.
Because you said that, our producer is going to be like,
that's big brain
so the thing you guys said that, I'm like, I should have had TP.
No, that's big brain routing right there.
Oh,
Straight to the top.
Already,
42 seconds.
You absolutely murdered
Oh
us.
my goodness.
I watching it, I was
amazed.
like, yeah, this is a fast clear. This is like you obliterated the camp.
I mean, I think I underestimated how quickly Graves would actually kill each of the camps.
Yeah.
Like two-shotting blue buff,
the damage there
things
was
like
nuts.
that.
Yeah.
I did not expect. So you basically didn't ever have to pause at a camp. You were killing in motion, which I think is a key. I don't think we had the other champions listed on there for the other runs, and I'm going to hold those a secret for now. Since you're the first pro player who went for it, I don't want to reveal some of the other choices till we have
all
some.
there.
Oh, they are there? Oh, good.
So I'm sorry, I hate to break it to you,
that's
but
totally
they're all
fine. Then
there.
we had a couple. The 80 carries
was
seem
gonna
to
say-
be reigning supreme. You've got Graves, who yes can be a jungler as well, but we had Tristan, Lucian were the other two at the top of the
was
table.
Kobe's.
Cooldown-based stuff doesn't seem. I mean, Lucian a little bit is a caster 80, but like realistically,
that was a quick one. A little sneak
Did you
peek.
get all of them?
Yeah, Graves
Snapshot.
Lucian covers.
But yeah, auto attacks, less animations. Like it's actually faster if you can just kite normally rather than like I used an ability
Waiting
jumping
to cast
in.
the
spell.
And, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. Well, there it is. There it is. Well, you're atop the leaderboard. We'll see if anybody can come after you.
Does he get a reward at the end of the playoffs if he's number one?
Ooh.
You know what?
Yeah, do you get
I'm going to
more
commit.
hard-
I'm going to commit the producers to giving you an award.
Yeah.
Yes, he does.
Okay.
Yes, he does.
Awesome.
And somebody backstage is cursing my name right
I'm
now.
signing people up for more work.
Yeah, right? I don't have to do it. Okay. Time for some good old-fashioned bracketology, though, here. After being knocked into the lower bracket, Dignitas, Quantum Pay are going to be fighting for their playoff lives against Immortals. First thing on Thursday. Cloud9 will honestly be doing the same against Golden Guardians. And as we've talked about, TL and EG both move ahead to play TSM and 100 Thieves.
All right, obviously TL is going to win versus TSM. We don't need to talk about it, obviously.
Yeah.
I assume you guys do like the kind of thing where you're scrimming mostly teams on the other side of the bracket. Who are you expecting to win between EG and 100 Thieves?
See, that's a really interesting one because I feel like it depends if EG shows up on the day. Because I still think EG is like even one, if not the best team, if they all show up at the same time. Because I think they have such, especially like Yasuke is like such a, it's kind of like a coin flip. Like if he shows up on the right day, like he's gonna 1v9. If not, then
Don't let him hear you say that.
if not, then he might perform really poorly, and then. But I think I'd actually give it to EG 3-2. I think EG is the stronger team right now, but I'm not 100% sure.
Is it actually a 3-2 in terms of like you think that's what the score will be, or is it more like if EG shows up, it's a 3-1, or if they don't show up, it's 100 Thieves, 3-0 or something?
Yeah, I mean, if EG shows up, 3-1, but I'd say like the safe bet 3-2 for me.
Right.
So.
Now, I know you both just said, and obviously we expect TL to win against TSM. That said, I do want to press you on something because it was in Jensen's interview, actually, that he said he said he had expected Cloud9 to be more difficult to beat than TSM would be. So, I want to know if you align with that thinking. And then two, if you do, why? And why are you so confident against TSM then?
I'd say I align. Every time I'm the most scared I am, that's always against Cloud9 because I know if they're really gonna take, like if they control the early game, like they'll just take over the game and the game will be done. But when I play TSM, I don't feel like they snowball as cleanly. I feel like there's a lot of errors they do in their gameplay, whereas like I feel like Cloud9 just kind of like when I watch like China play, just like once you have a lead, the game is over. Whereas against TSM, I feel like it's more like, I wouldn't say like the NA style, but more like they like control mages, they like taking games slow and go to like late game, which means we have more opportunities to win.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, again, I want to congratulate you on the victory today. As Emily said, felt like some of the cleanest games we've seen a North American team play this year.
Ooh.
And it's awesome to have you back, my friend.
Thank
Excited
you so
for what
much.
you do next week. Next week, the LCS does return on Thursday for a 4-day week of playoffs. That's right, 4 whole days of LCS action. But you know, what else is back on Thursday? That's right, Academy Playoffs is also back. They're starting right after the end of LCS action. That's a whole heck of a lot of North American talent out there on that stage next week. The weekend itself, though, isn't quite over as the show continues with the final summer installment of Bud Light League Lounge with myself, the Tigress Revenge, and Triple over at twitch.tv/BudLight. That will conclude this LCS broadcast, though. So on behalf of myself, the casters, the entire live broadcast crew, thank you for watching, and we'll see you next week. Until then, stay healthy, stay safe, and be good to each other. Good night. And start doing some fast jungle clears. I want to know what people theory
I'm
craft
gonna go
up.
home and
Because I think sub 40 is going to happen.
Yeah.
I think sub 40 can happen.
I think it can happen.